Hey there, it's Nick here from Bent on Better, and in this video we are going to take you through the steps of increasing your wrist strength and stability so that you no longer feel pain during your push-ups in your wrists. Get ready to follow along. To develop greater wrist strength and make sure that we're not hitting pain in our push-ups at our wrists, one of the best ways to do this would be to take the same exercise we're working on, but lighten up the resistance and make it more accessible without hitting that wrist pain. So to get set up, come near a squat rack where you can place a barbell in against pins. This is going to allow you to create an incline so that you can lessen the resistance and work on a full grip position so you can build shoulder strength and wrist strength at the same time, all in a low resistance sort of way. To get set up, we're going to set our arms about 1.5 shoulder width. So if this right here is shoulder width, this is going to be closer to 1.5. And you're going to step back as if performing a plank, so you'll probably be up on the balls of your feet, and that's fine. Try not to be too far away from the bar, and you'll see in just a second where you want to land your chest when you go through this motion. Keep your spine straight. So again, focus on building strength here in your abdomen as if performing a plank. With our wrists, we want to make sure, this is very important, especially for building wrist strength, to grip fully onto the barbell with our thumb wrapped underneath and our wrist straight, knuckles pointed to the corner of the room. Once you're all set up, pretend to bend the bar. If the bar were made of rubber, it would bend up through the middle. You can see my elbows actually spin in toward my rib cage when I pretend to bend the bar. That's good. That packs your shoulder and makes that strong and stable. As you're performing the push-up, you're going to try and land with the bar about low sternum or just lower than the chest line here. If you don't touch or make contact, that's okay. Just target that area. Perform a few repetitions. Again, making sure to keep the spine straight. Squeeze the bar as you're pushing away and pull yourself to the bar as you're coming down. Nice and slow and under control. To increase the resistance here, to make this more difficult and so that you can build your strength slowly, incrementally over time, you would lower the barbell a couple inches at a time. Just make sure that when you lower the bar, you're doing it equally. It's easy to set off by 1 inch on each side if you're not paying attention. So we have the barbell set slightly lower now. We're going to set up exactly as we did the first time around. Don't forget to bend the bar. Pull yourself down and push yourself away with full strength. Grip tight and keep those thumbs wrapped underneath. If you begin experiencing wrist pain or shoulder pain or any discomfort, bring that bar back up, practice those steps again at a lighter resistance, and see if you can build up your strength slower over time. While we're building wrist and shoulder strength, we want to make sure to tend to our flexibility as well. And so in these next two stretches, we're going to focus on stretching our forearm flexors and our forearm extensors. We're going to tackle both sides of the forearm. For this first stretch, we're going to tackle the flexors. And to get set up, you want to be side facing to a wall about arm's length away. We're going to take our arm out nice and straight with our posture nice and tall. Keeping the elbow straight here, plant the palm flat on the wall with our fingers pointed up. To maximize or intensify this stretch, we're just going to slide that palm another inch or two south. Try not to go too fast, too far too fast. Be sure to also pack your shoulder. So instead of letting it sit forward like this, wrap that shoulder down and back and around while keeping that arm straight. You're going to get a much more stable position for this stretch, and you'll lessen the likelihood of having any type of burning down the arm while you're performing the stretch. Which brings up a good point. And if you do feel burning or discomfort or anything going on in the arm that doesn't feel good, lessen the stretch by bringing your fingers further north or by stepping slightly further away from the wall. Again, you want to feel this down the fleshy, soft underside of the forearm here. Hold the stretch for 45 to 60 seconds, and when you're done, don't forget to switch sides. The second stretch we're going to focus on here is the forearm extensors. And so these are the muscles that run from your elbow down to your wrist on the top side of your forearm, the side of your forearm that tends to grow more hair. To get set up, very simply, take your free hand, grab right above your knuckles on the arm that you want to stretch. We're going to pull the fingers inward and bend that wrist inward like so. To maximize, take your shoulder and your elbow here, and we're going to try and spin them toward the body. So this is going to help intensify that stretch even more. Now, if you have pain on the top of the wrist while you're performing this stretch, back off a little bit. Maybe don't pull quite as far into that bend, but still work on getting that elbow to turn in toward the rib cage here. The further up you grab on the hand, the more stretch you should feel. If you grab more toward your fingers, you might not feel that stretch quite as much. Make sure to hold the stretch for 45 to 60 seconds, and also make sure to switch and do the other side. Okay, by this point, we've learned how to perform push-ups on a barbell, focusing on our grip. We've also started stretching the muscles in our forearm. Now we want to start to integrate back into a wrist extended push-up position. We're going to do this at a lighter resistance though. So we're going to use a bench. And a bench, for me, is right up to about my knee height. It's about 18 inches off of the ground. This is a great height to start. We can do this either on our toes or on our knees. For this video, I'm going to show you how to do this on your toes. To get set up, we want to place our hands about 1.5 shoulder width. So if this is shoulder width, this is going to be about 1.5 that size. Full grip with our hands. So using our fingertips and using the edges of our palms, we want to disperse the force out away from our wrists into the edges of our hand. So I recommend pretending like you can place fingerprints straight into that bench, grip it with all of your might, and then turn those elbows inward, just like you did when you were on the barbell. This is what that feeling of packing your shoulders feels like. It's gonna feel like you're trying to break the bench or spin the bench out to the sides. Once you're all set there with strong shoulders and a strong grip, go ahead, proceed through a couple push-ups here at a time. Try not to do too many at once. And again, make sure that you're meeting it with the right resistance. This happens to be up on my toes. If you feel like you need a little less resistance, though, you can come down onto your knees and practice in this position. Just be careful, because if you're too close to the bench, you're going to end up in one of these kind of situations where your arms flare out to the sides too far. So we might need to change up what we're using for support. Maybe a couch, or maybe something that still has firm support, but is a little bit higher up off of the ground, and you can stay on your toes. Now, once you can successfully perform push-ups here without pain in a wrist extended position, we're going to move to the floor next. And last but not least, we're going to go ahead and integrate back to the floor. We'll start by doing push-ups on our knees, and we'll then advance to push-ups on our toes. To get set up, again, arms should be about 1.5 shoulder width. We're going to grip onto the ground, so dispersing the force out of our wrist into the edges of our fingertips and in our palm. On our knees, we want a nice straight spine position, so you want to pretend to plank here. We're going to slowly pull our body to the ground, packing our shoulders, or in other words, the feeling again of trying to grip and spin the ground apart. You'll feel your elbows kind of turn in toward your rib cage when you do that correctly. And if you can perform repetitions here with no wrist pain and no problems, we're going to advance to being on the toes. Work again on keeping the spine nice and straight. Pull the body to the floor and push firmly by squeezing the ground and pushing away. Take it one step at a time. Try not to go too fast, too far, too fast. You've got this. All right, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.